Okay, hello, good evening, and welcome to the Questionable Album Club, the podcast where this beautiful panel of music fans, we attempt to blow the dust off some of rock's curios, failures, and generally perceived missteps. The hope of which that the album we talk about is going to make it onto our top 10. So please stay to the end of this episode to find out where the album we're talking about today, which will be revealed shortly, makes it onto this top 10, which today Simon is going to read. I'm going to introduce the panel shortly. Simon, I'm just going to...
So number 10 is Joni Mitchell, Dog Eat Dog, I think. And then number 9 is Motorhead, Dog Eat Dog, no, the Manticore Tapes, and Grinder Man 2, Slayer, God Hates Us All, a Van Halen album, The Rolling Stones, their Standing Message Request, Something by Yes, The Doors' worst album, the best album on the list, Yes Please by Happy Mondays, and inexplicably a Rick Wakeman album called The Six Wives of Henry VIII at the top.
Thank you, Simon. Speaking of which, let me just introduce the panel. Simon Ward. Hello, Simon. Thank you for that.
Hello, and thank you for letting me read it out. I enjoyed it a lot.
That's okay. This is what a lovely day we're all having already. Steenie. Hi, Steenie.
Hello, how's it going?
We've got Ross English. Hi, Ross.
Good evening, everybody.
And we've got Steve Gibson. Hello, Steve.
Hello, good evening.
Steve, it was your choice tonight. You chose American Life, I can't know which out, ninth or something. The 2003 album from Madonna, which came out called American Life. It came out exactly 1 month after the American invasion of Iraq, and was the one with her dressed up as Che Guevara on the front, which was quite, zeitgeisty. So, Steve, do you want to explain why you chose this record?
Well, I'm a huge Madonna fan, and I was intrigued. No, not really. I loathe Madonna.
You loathe Madonna.
I loathe Madonna. Yeah, I don't even find her attractive. I really chose.
Settle in, everyone. Settle in.
I was incidentally listening to something else, and the era when this came out was a very, very, very formative era for the way I think politically about the world now. And sadly, as day by day goes by, I see nothing to change my view from what I started then. But the interesting thing that I heard was this guy saying, at that point, no, we all remember it well. At that point, maybe we could have looked to the artists and the music stars to say something to were we going to get, give me an F, give me a U, give me a C, give me a K all over again from the Vietnam stuff? Are they going to deliver us now? So Madonna turns up. I believe the first single had a horrendous video on it, which she bottled out of actually doing. I'm sure we all know that. I'm sure we've all done our due diligence. So I was just interested, on a personal basis, that, and on another basis, she was in a position to maybe say something. Another reason why I love Madonna is I do have it on 100% first hand that I'm not sure about every tour, but certainly the last world tour she did. If you were lucky enough to be in the crew or any aspect, she was one of those where it was in your contract that if she happened to be walking past, you weren't allowed to look at her. You had to avert your eyes. And all of that stuff from superstars, I can't abide. So just a little bit of a background. But that's why I chose it, because it was a very turbulent time, for me personally, a time that formed my political views that I held to this day for all sorts of reasons which are too boring to go into. But that was why. And I thought it was an interesting point that we could have looked to the artists of the day to give us a bit of Country Joe, but did it happen? Well,
it's interesting because it's interesting that Madonna. Do you think that Madonna just dressing up as Che Guevara on the cover kind of wound you up to a point where because Madonna, she's just a pop artist. If Madonna had been sort of topless on the album cover and it had been called,
I wonder how long that would take. To be honest, I wonder how long it would take before.
But it's a pop album,
But she'd done all that before. She'd done the topless bit. She'd shocked us before all this. But we can get to that when we start.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Okay. So I like the fact you've put your cards on the table. You loathe Madonna.
Yeah,
you came to political maturity thanks to Madonna's album.
I wouldn't say maturity. I wouldn't be so bold to say that I wouldn't think that I have these views forevermore, but they certainly at that point in time formed.
Do you wait for Madonna albums before you kind of sort of
Don't we all?
down?
Don't we all? Don't we all? Sorry.
Steenie,
I misread the panel.
Steenie, what are your thoughts on Madonna? I mean, generally, before we talk about this, or what
Well,
do you find her?
the Madonna's one of those people who's basically been around during my entire music listening experience, really, been like that started listening, taking note of music in the early 80s. I suppose I remember seeing Lucky Star when it came out on like Saturday Superstore or something like that, or Swap Shop, whatever it was. And it just been some pop and a new person. And the strangest thing I think about Madonna that has always amazed me is that she sort of came out of this slightly manufactured feeling pop. I mean, she did have quite an arty background, but um, she came from this point and made herself just by force of will some sort of kind of spokesperson for a generation without ever having anything to say. It's really bizarre. She was, a sort of figurehead.
Steenie,
Yeah.
she came out of the clubs, you know what I mean? So it's all
Yeah.
about pop. And also, pop music is by its very nature
Yeah, it is.
manufactured. People say, "Oh, pop music is so manufactured." Pop music, it's a confection. It's not. It's
But it
not.
is.
It's inauthentic.
But it is. But then it's one of those things where it doesn't, it because of that, because of its inauthenticity, it doesn't, when people try and be earnest and forthright and political in pop music, it nearly always falls on its ass because it's such a sort of flimsy construction. And I think Madonna has this kind of view of herself as some sort of kind of polymath who can just do anything. So she can act and she can sing and she can do a book and she can, and actually she can't do any of it because she's kind of shit at all of it. And the like her acting is terrible. Uh, she was quite fun. Desperately Seeking Susan is quite fun, but she's playing basically herself, so that's not acting. And then some of her songs are nice. Some of the songs are good to listen to, and you listen. I heard them on the radio, and I've got an affection for certain of them, and they remind me of certain periods in my life. In that way, that music you don't necessarily like starts to sort of become a landmark of sorts, and you can sort of pin time periods to it, and you may or may not like it, but the fact is that I can remember happy times hearing the Birdie song, for instance, but it doesn't make it like a great monument of pop. It just means it's a marker in my life. And that's the same I feel with Madonna songs. There are certain ones I quite like, but I've never understood where she's got this kind of feeling that she's some kind of mega artist. I mean, she sold a lot of records, but
I think you have the feeling of a mega artist when you become a mega artist. You know what I mean? When you're a massive pop, when your sales and your profile and your everything exponentially increases, then it's like, oh God, here I am. What do I do with myself?
but
Over. She was 45 in 2003, so she's
but
67 now. So she was 45 when she.
Yeah, I'm not talking specifically about American life at the moment. I'm just talking about generally throughout her career. She's always had this, I need to shock and be this kind of this sort of artist on all fronts, but without ever having anything particularly relevant or interesting to say. And and if all else fails, I'll just get my boobs out.
Let's hold things there, Steve, because I think getting that's quite an important part of
every 20 minutes now.
Every 20 minutes we'll be talking about that.
Simon, how did you feel when Madonna got her boobs out?
I don't recall that. I must have not been there that day.
Did you not buy her book Sex or look it up?
No, I didn't. I didn't buy her book.
Didn't have a metal cover.
It was quite well presented. I remember that. I remember seeing it somewhere.
Everyone's seen it. Wasn't it 100 quid or something? Wasn't it? It was like
way beyond.
You all seem pretty clued up on this book, lads. For non.
It was famous. She released this kind of limited edition, expensive hardback, like sort of softcore pornography of herself and But it was
called Sex, wasn't it?
It was called Sex, but it was pre-internet, so no one's ever fucking seen it.
I'm sure it's all been scanned on somewhere. I'm sure.
Yeah. After this, honestly, there's going to be a run on.
This isn't going quite the way I expected it to, but never mind. Carry on.
Sorry, Simon. Sorry, Simon.
No, that's fine. So, have you got a question, or do you just want me to go on about Madonna?
Do you loathe Madonna? Do you rate her at all? What's a little thumbnail about you and Madonna?
Well, okay, I haven't got any thumbnails of me and Madonna. Unfortunately, I've never met her, but like Steenie, we're obviously the same age because she's been there throughout. Basically, from when I first started getting interested in music was when she first started releasing records, and when Like a Virgin came out, I was firmly into pop music around that time. I was listening to Howard Jones and a-ha and things like that.
Okay, right, Simon. That's okay. I'm afraid that's a ding. That's a kind of that's the shepherd's coming in. Howard Jones, fucking hell, Jesus Christ, Ross.
I was a member of the Howard Jones fan club.
Okay.
Oh,
we actually.
I was, yeah.
Okay.
Seb, you need to throw off your mental chains, mate.
I used to be Jed.
Ross, can you give me something slightly more,
Yes. Yes.
Can someone take Madonna slightly more seriously, Ross? If anyone's going to take Madonna seriously, Ross, it's going to be you.
I've been doing a bit of Madonna listening these last couple of weeks,
God for that.
as I tend to, just to see if whether or not there's something in the back catalogue that I've missed. And the thing that struck me was I listened to one of the things I listened to was I think it must be a sort of late 90s greatest hits thing called the Immaculate Collection, and I knew every song on it. And there are bands I like where you listen to their best of LPs, and there's one on there you go, oh, I've never heard that before. And I think it's just a sign how much, even if you're not interested in Madonna, that she just permeates the cultural sphere. I mean, I don't like music. I mean, especially the early stuff, it's all just a bit too Alvin and the Chipmunks for me. And listening to that best of, there are some things, if you just imagine this is Alvin the Chipmunk singing it, it's pretty much a spot on the same vocal. But I don't know, I struggled with this one because, I mean, normally when we do this stuff, we're dealing with like music that even if you don't know it or you don't like it, it sort of touches on things in your Venn diagram of music you do like and care about. And that's why we can get angry, because it's like someone's trying to do something that's on our territory, the things we care about, and they're doing it badly. But this is nowhere near my Venn diagram. I mean, the Venn diagram this is in is not in the same time zone as me, so I don't know how to sort of react to this. But I remember last year we had some friends round, and someone posed a question: if you could only listen to one artist's back catalogue for the rest of your life, who would it be? And I had a friend who's a sane individual who said it would be Madonna. So clearly she means an awful lot to an awful lot of people, and I just don't get it. I mean, I listen to it and it's there and it's squeaky and it's what it is, and it's, I don't find it offensive, but I can't grasp what it is that people care about on this. So I think that's my relationship to Madonna. She's there, she's there, she's here, she's there, she's everywhere, but I don't get it.
I think the thing that I think there are lots of things going on with this. That there are preconceptions that she's been a massive cultural figure for pretty much all of our lives since we were children, and whatever you think or don't think of her music, and it's she's about more than her music. It's about her she's a hugely famous person, a celebrity, a sex symbol, all this, but also she's a creative, and she makes pop music, and pop music is. Pop music it's about the now. It's about the plugging into. This album was produced by this French Algerian producer Merwai, right? Who did the music, the album. Remember, kind of Madonna, end of the 80s. She had a kind of pallid early 90s, and then her big comeback was Ray of Light, right? Which was I own two Madonna CDs. I own the Immaculate Collection and Ray of Light on CD. And I think Ray of Light. I listened to it, having listened to this. I listened to it, and I still think it's great. And then she did that music, which I've always had a visceral hatred of. But Merwai, if I'm pronouncing that right, did this. He was this kind of French producer his whole shtick is kind of minimalist synths, acoustic guitar samples. So in a way, if you're a pop star, you're always trying to, what's relevant? Where am I? What's relevant now? And I think when you're younger as a pop star, you are creating what pop is, right? You're part of it. You're creating what pop means. But as you get older, and certainly Madonna, things moving so quickly, are you coattailing? Are you chasing an ambulance, or are you still riding the ambulance? And I think pop music is inevitably, is it fashionable? Is it resonating with the kids? Am I selling this many records? Am I on the front of magazines? Am I, which is, so it's different to all the other genres of music, which is what you're saying, Ross. Do you know what I mean? It's just culturally, it's just not the same thing.
Are we going to get through this podcast without someone saying the word zeitgeist?
I've said it like 4 fucking times.
Yeah.
Steve,
Yes.
with your loathing of Madonna and you're equating Madonna as I think there's a danger with this. I think she asked for it really by putting her during the early days of the Iraq invasion by putting a photo of her dressed as Che Guevara, and also all the lyrics are about, there's nothing political about this, surely. All the songs are about herself, right?
Well, that's what I thought. So the first song is just all about herself, and I listened to a few sort of Madonna fans talking about this album, and the rap, the Mini Cooper Super Duper rap, which is just, what the hell is that all about? They're going, well, of course she's being ironic, and I thought, well, it's not. And you sort of think, oh right, okay, so she's going for a motorcycle nightmare or back on the road again. The problem she's got is that she doesn't have 4 albums of killer social comment and protest before it. She's got a song about getting spanked, So why would we see this rap as anything about what it is? Beyond that, what struck me about this album was, because I've never listened to a full. Actually, I don't know if I've listened to a full pop music album, but the full Madonna album was how just monotone and dire her vocal performances are. It's just the same. There's no. I don't think she's a very good singer. I'm completely with Stina. It always baffled me. I think of the both at the time. I remember there was a time when Madonna was revered as exactly what Stina was saying, as this, and Cher was getting maligned. And I always thought, well, both their pop music output's awful, but you'd say Cher's films are sort of better. So why is everyone laying into Cher and why Madonna getting away with it? And I think one of Madonna's films actually won the kind of inverse Oscar thing, didn't it? The anti-Oscars,
The Razzies.
Whatever it's called, for being totally shit. She won something like that. So I've never really got it, and I was just intrigued. This was obviously an opportunity to say something, but it's all about herself. And I know she changed the video apparently because she was concerned about the safety of her children, which, if someone's threatening her children, fair enough. But one struggles to think of Madonna's children walking through a council estate on the way to school. Really.
I don't think it was that. I think it was.
No, that's what she said. That's what she said.
Really? Oh, okay.
So part of her change.
I know she didn't put the video out because she thought it was inappropriate, because it was just at the time when it was like, wasn't it? I think sort of oversized women dressed as GIs dancing, and I thought
it was like war footage and limbs, getting people without limbs and stuff like that. It was a very
for American Life.
Yeah. And she changed it to that weird thing with all the flags behind her, and what the hell that's all about. I don't know, but she basically bottled it.
Can anybody see a political statement anywhere in this album at all?
No, not at all. No, but it was kind of billed at the time. I understand it to be this, and I was just sort of I was just laughing in the first song because it was a little bit of imagine all the it's political in the sense of the only in the same way that Imagine's a bit political, in the sort of I'll ride at the back of my Rolls Royce. Imagine there's no possessions, I do Pilates and I've got a Mini Cooper, etc. The whole thing's baffling. The whole thing, and it's just what shocked me the most. I expected it to be like that, and I expected me not to like it. And I don't, musically, it's very there's too much sort of, I believe in life after love, twinges of that in the vocals, all those production techniques. I think she actually learned to play guitar at this point as well. And there's some footage of her on YouTube strumming away on an acoustic, and everybody going crazy about that she's learned to play the guitar. But there's learning to play the guitar and there's learning to play the guitar, isn't there? As we all, some of us on this pod will know, being in a certain band. So I don't know. I don't. Yeah, there's nothing to redeem this album at all in my opinion. It's just an overbloated pop star bleating on about themselves, who has access to. I mean, let's face it. If she wants, whoever she wants can produce her album. And the only other interesting thing I found out about this was the one before it was she had a massive flop, didn't she? Well, this was the flop. This was a huge flop.
This was the flop, yeah.
Yeah, this was a catastrophic flop that probably, if it happened now, in the age that we are now, you wouldn't be able to come back from. You wouldn't recover from that.
It sold about half as much as the album before, but it still went to number 1 in America. It still went to number 1. Yeah.
Bloody hell! I didn't know.
The singles are huge failures. The singles didn't chart
Right,
at all, and as a pop artist, she's a singles artist. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but she's got so. I mean, she's got again. I completely agree with Stina. I've never understood the following and the way that she's held up to kind of be this. And women's rights thing and all this sort of thing. I just don't see it. I don't get it. There seems to be. You could throw a dart in the street and probably find somebody more worthy of the praise that she gets. Yeah.
Steenie, obviously there's doesn't appear to be anything political apart from the incredibly crass cover. There is, however, a triptych of love, profusion, nobody knows me. No, hang on, nothing fails, intervention, and ecstatic process are a trilogy of love songs about Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie, that famous political figure.
And this was that time when, do you remember when they used to sit in a pub? They were photographed sitting there, but she would have a flat cap on, and
always wearing Barber jackets.
Drinking Timothy Taylor Landlord. Do you remember?
Yeah, they're basically
pretending she was enjoying it.
Yeah, that was it. It's basically dressed as like Nigel Farage's wet dream, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And
so this is from that period.
Yeah, it was.
She going jogging in Hyde Park with about 60 around for that. Yeah,
she was doing a lot in England. She was in a play in the West End as well at the same time, wasn't she? Doing something, but I think there's something. The most political thing on this record is the fact that she is rubbishing materialism generally. She's constantly going on about, in a very imagined way, as Steve said, about having, the meaningless and vapidity of everything. And I could do without all of this. And she said in that MTV interview that I think was quoted on the Wikipedia page, the core of everyone's research, which said that you have to have had everything to know that it doesn't mean anything. And so she's got to this point. And in a way, I do understand that to the core, and I know that a lot of our viewers of this podcast are living in the USA, the core of the American dream is to basically the American dream was always you can be anything you want to be, I think. But you can be anything you want to be, but that thing really is someone who has a lot of stuff and a lot of things. You work to get these things, and you build your life around these things, and we're all guilty of it as well in our own way. It happens to everybody, really. I mean, that's just a Western life, isn't it? But I think it means more so in America, and I think that her kind of rubbishing that maybe to her is a political statement about the nature of America, and that everything we're chasing in this country is meaningless. But really, on listening to this album, I just got the impression of like one giant midlife crisis. She's basically questioning her place in the world. She's realizing that she's no longer Flavor of the Month. She's not making these, basically genre inventing records anymore. She's trying to do something different. She's hitched onto this producer guy, but it's not massively original. What is interesting is that the one thought that struck me is that she's made this record, which basically sounds like a lot of the shit that's around now, and a lot of the AI generated pop that you hear on Spotify or that gets splattered all over the place, sounds like this record still 20 years later. And yet she's started doing this stuff 20 years ago, rubbishing capitalism, rubbishing materialism, and rubbishing all of this. And now what pop celebrates more than anything is like, conspicuous consumerism and being the best and all of the stuff that she's railing against theoretically in this song. I mean, I don't know if she is railing against it. She might just be showing off about having a mini and being able to drink.
I think she's apparently she apparently was stream of consciousness. The producers just say whatever you want. And you'd
never have known that rap was made up on the spot, would you? It sounds like it was really crafted over hours.
But Steenie, I think I think there is an element of questioning herself, questioning is she happy? She's a massive megastar, multi-millionaire, one of the most famous people on the planet. And you're 45 and you're making a pop album. What are you going to sing about? I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah. Well, I think it's fair enough. The problem is that she doesn't have anything to say on this record at all.
No.
I mean,
she does, Steenie. She loves Guy Ritchie.
She does what?
She loves Guy Ritchie.
She does. Well, if she did.
That's on the record. She's saying that there are 3 explicit love songs about her love of Guy Ritchie, and that's fair enough, right?
I think the one thing that I got from this record is that she's very successful, and she's very, very sad, and she's finding it. And what's making her even more sad is that she's finding it hard to put into any kind of meaningful musical statement how sad she is, because it all just sounds like one with some beeps and farts and production details and
some acoustic guitar samples
and acoustic guitar samples, and it makes me think of what Simon said previously. Whenever we do a heavy metal album, and Simon always says, "I just hear heavy metal, and it just goes like that." And this is what I hear when I hear this pop music. I sat and I was really doing what I always do: try and concentrate, try and pick details out of the songs, try and like be constructive. And then I found myself actually scrolling on my phone, doing the bloody cryptic crossword on my phone, and I'm 4 songs down the line. I'm like, what happened to those songs? Shit, I should have been paying attention. Instead, I was trying to do the Guardian cryptic, and it's just background. But my foot was tapping because you can't help it because the beats are going, so your foot's going. So maybe that's what it's about. It's the ultimate sort of musical wallpaper kind of thing, but it's very dreary wallpaper.
Simon, this album also has bizarrely has a Bond theme as the penultimate track, "Die Another Day," which was the last Bond film with Pierce Brosnan, and this was the soundtrack. So it's a really weird
success. This was the successful single because this got to the top 10 in the States, didn't it?
And it's stylistic. It's stylistically in tandem with it fits with the rest of the album. It's a weird place to put it on the record, isn't it? Senior was actually asking Simon with respect.
I just making the observation about the success.
It is a kind of I mean, she's sort of thrown it away, right? Especially because by that time you'd already established that you put your best single first, your second best single second, and so on the CD, so that when people got bored, they'd already heard all the singles.
Yeah.
So it is. Yeah, it's kind of a weird place to put it, but it's a great song, as is every other song on this record. I mean, the first time I played this, I was like, "This is good." The second time I played it, I wasn't so sure. And then the third time, I realised that it was great. And I have basically not listened to anything else since I was asked to come on the pod. I'm absolutely obsessed with this record. I think it's probably in my top 50 albums of all time. It's just wonderful. Everything about it is absolutely perfect. Mirwai's production is faultless throughout. Sound design, the production of it, the arrangements, the vocal style. Disagree, Steve. I think our vocal style on this is absolutely wonderful. Every song I could imagine being in a club and hearing it and how it would sound. And it just fills me with joy. And I've listened to it. I would say probably the last time I listened to it, I got this obsessed with a whole album. I frequently get obsessed with a single or a single track. So Lola Young's Messy was one last year. But I haven't been this obsessed with a record since Sparkle Horse's debut album, Viva Dixie Submarine Transmission Plot, which I listened to every day for a month when it came out in 98, 97. But I have honestly listened to this. I would say I've listened to at least some of this record literally every day since we agreed to come on this pod. And I then started investigating because I couldn't get enough of it. I investigated all of the extended remix packages that she put out for each of the singles. And then I made myself I think it's about a 10-track mix of the best remixes on each of those. And if I could go to a club and hear that set, I would be absolutely delighted. It is top-notch dance music. I mean, really good. There's 2 fantastic Jason Nevins remixes. The Calderone remixes are incredible. There's a really good is it Oakenfold? Yeah, I think it's Oakenfold on there. It's just everything about this record and everything to do with it is just sublimely good. I love it.
Ross, what did you make of Hollywood, the song which is a pastiche of Hollywood? I'm just fucking ignoring you. Ross, what did you make of Hollywood track 2?
Well, after having listened to the first track, anything was going to be a relief. And so I for a while I thought this is going to be the song that I think I'm going to say is my favourite one. But I had the same reaction I had to quite a few songs on there, when I thought that is that after about a minute or two, I was sort of it wasn't going anywhere. But I quite like the hook, which I think is throughout this album. I quite like the hook, and then it doesn't really do much afterwards. So I thought that was, and actually lyrically, I thought that first track, okay, she's sort of like trying to take herself apart a bit. That's what suggestion is, but she never really did it. And so when the second one comes along and it's talking about Hollywood, which she's been in, and she's sort of demeaning that a bit, I think this is going to be the one where she really kicks out lyrically and says something. And again, she doesn't really do it. So why did you choose that particular track?
I just couldn't believe. I still don't know whether Simon's being. I don't know whether Simon's taking the piss or not.
I promise you, I was being deadly serious. I mean it. I am completely in love with this record. I'm not being. People often say to me that when I'm taking the piss, I sound like I'm serious, and when I'm serious, I sound like I'm taking the piss. I'm deadly serious. I love this record.
Okay, Steve, you got your hands up.
Just one little quick question for Simon. If you're in a club and this came on, would it make a difference if Howard Jones was before it or after it?
I wouldn't want to hear Howard Jones in a club at all, but this record is genius.
But what if you're listening? What if you're listening to this in the club and then Howard Jones came in?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool. I'd love to have a drink with Howard Jones because he seems like a really nice guy.
Vegetarian cat.
Yeah.
Huh?
I was vegetarian for 10 years because of him.
Is that one of his albums?
No, his cat was vegetarian too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, please like and subscribe, by the way, everyone.
Exactly. For more vegetarian cats. Do you want me to go on a bit about this album?
Ross, yes, please, go on.
I had a couple. I mean, the main problem I have is that I have a real visceral reaction to autotune or vocoder stuff. Anything that makes your voice sound like it's been mangled by a computer. It's not a dislike, it's an utter hatred that makes me really, really cross. And there were a couple of songs on this I just really couldn't listen to because it was just, I mean, if you can't sing, get someone to sing, and if you can sing, just stop it. And my son,
Ross, it's the equivalent of like gated drums in the 80s.
Oh.
It's a production technique that in 20 years' time everyone will go, oh my god, and then it'll come back into fashion. To be fair to Madge, this was an early. It's not autotune, it's a vocoder, and it's on Nobody Knows Me, which I think is actually a really good song. I completely agree with you. I think it's awful and it's horrific, but I'm with you. But
yeah. I mean, I have a teenage son, so I hear a lot of this stuff, and it gets the hackles up. So there were at least 2 tracks I just couldn't listen to. I had to skip because it was just doing my nutting. But I think my reaction to the rest of them were, as I said before, that I think that there was a little bit in every one which was something could be interesting, and it just never really went anywhere. And it was like, well, okay, there's a line or a lyric, and that she might develop this. I mean, it's and it's just. I'm with Steenie on this, that in the end it was just I wasn't really paying attention because I paid attention for the first 20 seconds, and after that it just never went anything. It's the whole thing of a hook and some production, which it seems to be a very convenient way to do things. I think there were some okay tracks on it. I think it's not going to be difficult for me to pick stuff that I liked, particularly the sort of Guy Ritchie slower stuff. I thought that actually quite took me, but generally she doesn't have the courage. Either she doesn't have the courage of her convictions lyrically on this, or she just doesn't know how to do it, because it's like suggesting I'm about to say something about something and then just not, and repeating stuff over and over again.
It's a pop album. It's not a fucking Bob Dylan album, man. I think people try to read too much. It's how it makes you
totally
feel.
Agree. This is like when I go on one of the metal shows and I go, well, this is ridiculous because it's got fairies and whatever, and then you're all like, well, it's heavy metal. What do you expect?
No, but if you set up the song by not saying this is going to be I love you, you love me. Yeah. This is going to be Hollywood, and I'm going to tell you something about it, or I'm going to denounce the previous things I've been. You are setting up that I'm about to say something. So
she does say something. She says that Hollywood isn't all it's cracked up to be, and American life isn't all it's cracked up to be. And for somebody in her position to say that, That's a big deal.
I don't know if she says it though. She sort of says, yes, right, I'm about to say something, and then
I know
She
doesn't.
what you
does.
mean. She doesn't deliver. She doesn't deliver. Apart from the Che Guevara barrier on the cover, which is extremely misleading. She doesn't deliver that kind of killer existential. Oh, that's really clever. She just doesn't. She bottles it, doesn't she?
Yeah, well, no, but to use your argument against you, Seb, it's pop music. She's not going to do that, is she? It's supposed to sound good in a club. It's not supposed to make you miserable and like.
I'm
Yeah,
agreeing with
but
I'm
this,
agreeing with both of you. 6-7, 6-7.
Oh, we shan't. Come on, that's too late for that now. You can't do that now.
It's going to date the pod a bit, isn't it? Right. Who's next? Steve. Have you got any more questions for Simon? I still can't believe he's telling the truth. Have you,
no,
do you know what? Do you ever watch Would I Lie to You? This is like Question Album Club does Would I Lie to You? Simon, have you got a card? The lie.
Someone's going to come out and pretend he knows
shit.
him in a minute. That's what's going to happen.
I was telling the truth.
I think what annoys me most about pop music is the it just gets so much. There's so much to all my life. Not so much now, thankfully, because of the internet. But when I was working places that you have the radio on, or I hear a bit of radio, and they're talking about music, it's just people go on and on about it in so much depth that isn't there. It's not that clever. So I loathe this little project I put on myself. And I assume we're doing a summing up and favorite song. So my summing
hang on. I want to say something because I haven't said anything. I've just been. Can I just say? I think I just want to, in defense of Madonna, I just think I think so much of the stuff she did in the past was clever and funny and was like Material Girl was just brilliant. It was genius. It's a brilliant pop song. It's self acknowledging, self aware, postmodern, like a virgin. Yeah, she did so much stuff that was so clever and funny and sexy and zeitgeisty. There's the word again. And she was just a brilliant pop star. I think she was so in control of her career in a way, much more than Michael Jackson. I think she was the driver of this vision that she had. I think even up to Ray of Light. I think Ray of Light was a fantastic reinvention, and I think massive respect to her. I mean, I think after Ray of Light, everything has just been bad. Apart, anyway, I just wanted to defend her a little bit.
I agree with you, and I think that actually her whole career has been political, but not political in the way that you all want it to be. It's been political by being strong, in charge of her own career, by being like she went out and did it on her own, and she's been she's a feminist icon. The whole of her career was, and part of that is to say, in order to be political, I don't have to talk about loads of chin strokey bollocks all the time.
Yeah.
It's political to say, this is lesbianism and I'm going to put it on mainstream television. This is my body and I'm not ashamed of it. This is, I'm going to bring club culture and gay culture and everything to the mainstream, and I'm going to make you fucking deal with it. I think that's incredibly political, much more political than The Clash, for example.
Yeah. And do you remember when she around this time she
snobbed Christina Aguilera and hit Britney Spears on the awards show?
Yeah, you've been doing too much Madonna this week, Simon.
No, I only watched that yesterday because I thought I should, because I thought it'd probably come up. It's worth watching mostly for Justin Timberlake's face just after she kisses Britney Spears.
Was that the MTV Video Awards one?
Yeah, he looks like he'd kill both of them on the spot if he had the chance.
Steve, do you remember that?
I've so much more to do than look at a Justin Timberlake reaction to anything.
But do you remember that? Do you remember that moment when Madonna?
Yeah, of course I do, because you couldn't get away from it, And
that's all I'm asking.
And I sort of I've enjoyed Simon's impassioned response there, but you have to remember that most of us weren't that. You just weren't that. Yeah, so what? She's kissed. It wasn't that. You brought club culture to the main. We all know. Yeah, so what? It was but. If I enjoyed your defense, but I'm gonna sum up and I'm gonna give it 0. I'm not even gonna give a favourite song because I want nothing more to do with it or anything else to do with her ever again. So
I love that. Okay, fair enough. Steenie, do you want to get a quick summing up favourite song and a number, please?
Yeah, well, just to go back to what you were saying as well about Madonna as an art, her past. I think I was a bit unfair on her in the initial introduction because I do have a soft spot for certain songs, such as Las La Bonita and Ray of Light and Frozen, which I quite like. But yeah, very all the same with this record. I think um, I think the key thing that I've taken from listening to this album is that for all of the questionable albums that we've done, and we've done many albums that could be very polarizing and upsetting. This is the only album that has caused serious visceral reactions from other members of my household. So Sophie came in and said, "What is that? Why are you listening to this shit? If you've got to listen to this on headphones if you want to listen to this album again."
Steenie, can I
Alfred
just
started
say
crying.
to anyone listening, it sounds fucking great on headphones. This record sounds much better on headphones than it does. So.
No, it's ear piercing on headphones. It's upsetting because that's why I had to listen to it on. And then Alfred actually was in tears because he found it so horrible.
In tears.
Yeah, genuinely found it upsettingly hard work to even have ambiently in the house while I was cooking the dinner, listening to it. So that's incredible. They've been through Rick Wakeman, they've been through Sabbath's Eternal Idol, they've been through fucking Metal Machine music, and this is the album this is the straw that didn't it severed the camel's back, it severed the camel's spine. This was an intense experience for people. This album, and I didn't feel it in that same way. I just felt it was a bit kind of dreary and where we were talking before about pop music being joyful and fun, that the Madonna stuff that was joyful and fun, I found this record really depressing, really sort of monotone, like one-paced, drab kind of. I couldn't wait to get to the end of it. And it sucked all the joy out of pop. I would rather listen to, I get more joy listening to things that most people find desperately miserable than listen to. I found it quite hard work. So yeah,
Give me a number, Steve. I'm
going to give you 18 for this, which I'm not sure if that's
it made your son cry.
It made my whole family angry. And it made me slightly depressed. Just Madonna has brought me joy in life.
Can I have your favourite song, please?
What's that acoustic one that's in the middle? X something. That one.
Ecstatic Process.
The Ecstatic Process. She starts warbling on about Jesus in it, but it was less intrusive than the rest of them. There was one song where she entered the last refuge of a scoundrel and got a gospel choir out.
That's Nothing Fails. Can I just say, am I the only one that she said, I'm not religious. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, I'm not.
Half the other songs, Jesus Christ,
Jesus this, Jesus that. Yeah. What about I quite enjoyed Die Another Day as well, because I like the bit where she just goes, Sigmund Freud, analyze this.
Oh, Sigmund Freud.
And only because that actually made me laugh out loud. It wasn't because I particularly enjoyed
You've got
this
18, but you seem to be talking yourself a little bit higher.
No,
higher?
No.
Higher?
I'm quite comfortable with 18. I'm quite comfortable.
In that case, just give me a song.
The ecstatic one.
Actually, you did already, didn't you? Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. Simon, here we go.
Well, I just want to say, Steve, thank you. I would never have heard this record if you hadn't nominated it, and I'm being quite genuine. This is now one of my favourite records of all time.
That's what I do.
I know. I know.
I can't believe this is happening.
I don't know how you expect me to choose one song off of this. If I have to choose one, I don't know. I mean, like
this is.
It's either Nothing Fails or Hollywood or Mother and Father or possibly American Life or Love Profusion. Any of those, choose one.
Let's say Mother and Father, Simon.
Okay.
Because that's the one about her mother dying, and she didn't like her mother. It's quite emotional.
Yeah.
Should we say go for that one?
Yeah, let's go for that one.
Okay. Well, how many marks out of 100 do you like to give it?
Well, it isn't perfect, so 94.
Okay, now Ross.
I've got an awful lot of sympathy with Simon's points about
Illness.
her politicalness early on by essentially being bold and doing stuff and standing out. And I think one of my issues with this is it has a pretense of being bold and it isn't.
Doesn't
Music,
have a pretense of being bold. Where's the pretense at boldness?
well,
It's just,
a lot of
where?
well, basically how a lot of the song starts. I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be undercutting myself, undercutting Hollywood and stuff. And I think it starts off, it never does
Playful.
it.
It's playful.
All right. Anyway, I'm summing up, Seb. I'm
Oh,
summing up.
sorry.
So I think it doesn't live up to that. Musically, it's really just, it's just not my thing. And it drifted by. There was a few things I quite liked, and I think the one ecstatic process. Sorry, I keep looking down, reminding myself what it's called. I think that's probably my song off the album because that was quite gentle and quite nice. But there were most songs had something which interested me for about 20 seconds or so, and that ain't bad. So I'm gonna give it 22.
22. Thank you, Ross. I'm going to choose my favourite song. I'm going to choose the last one. What's it called? Easy Life?
Easy Ride.
Easy Ride. Just because we haven't talked about it and it was quite nice. I think the second half of the album is much better than the first. The first album's trying to be sonically relevant, and I think the second half chills out a bit and it's kind of quite pretty pop songs. I think it's okay. I quite liked it. There's a lot wrong with it, but I think there's enough. I like the minimalist synthy, weird lo-fi synthy things with it just works. Well, I think she sings okay. The lyrics are stupid. It's a pop album. It's Madonna. It's all right. I think the title track itself, the way it suddenly cuts the American life, I like it. It's all right. 39, I'm going to give it. So I just need to add Ross's 22. That gives us a total of 173 divided by 5 equals 34.6. Saved entirely by Simon. Well done, Simon. Which puts it on our list. So 34.6 puts it 34.6. It puts it in bid. It puts it Simon. Funnily enough, isn't this beautiful poetry here? It's exactly the same score as Lee Scratch Perry's Guide to the Universe. 34.6. So it's equal 18th. In between Bob Dylan's Saved and Prince's Planet Earth. So you've got Prince and Madonna in the same sort of place. So there we go. Simon, do you feel sad that everyone else scored it so low and you don't care?
I mean, I had no other expectation.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, good for you. Good for you. Right, it was my turn for the next one, and I just can't decide all day. I've been really fretting about it and looking it up, and I just haven't been able to decide. But I'm just going to have to decide now. I had two, which I was like, oh, there's got to be that, got to be that, got to be that. So I'll save one for next time. I'm going for a fucking hell. I can't even remember what year it was. 1987 album. I've talked about this. I've talked about doing this before. I'd like to. It's a Marillion album. It's the last Fish album. It's Clutching at Straws by Marillion. Because I sort of nearly went for Misplaced Childhood, which is supposed to be their masterpiece, but Marillion are just one of those bands that are just so utterly baffling to me, and they've been ubiquitous. And Fish and all this sort of shit. We, as rock fans, you grew up with Marillion. Marillion are sort of there, aren't they? So I just thought, fuck it. It's about someone's going to do some Marillion.
Any hits on that? Any?
I have no idea.
I saw them on that tour.
Is Kaylee on that?
No, that's Misplaced Childhood.
It's got one single. It's got Warm Wet Circles, which I've never heard. I've never heard anything on this album.
It's about his alcoholism.
Sorry?
It's about Fish's alcoholism.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, how very appropriate to all of us.
What, the album or Warm Wet Circles?
Were there any other? Anyway, Ross, don't talk about When You Saw It Live, because obviously we need to save that for the next podcast. Anyone? Has anyone got this album? Steenie, have you got this album?
God, no. No, I don't own a single Marillion album.
I like them more when Fish left. I like the later stuff more with what's his face.
Steve Hogarth.
Yes,
William
yeah,
Hogarth.
Hooks in You and all that sort of thing. I didn't mind that compared to the Fish stuff. But there you go.
Well, and that's it.
I look forward to hearing that then. It's another first for me, sitting through a whole album by an artist.
I've never listened to a Marillion album. All right, thanks everyone. Yeah, thank you, Steenie.
Yep, thank you very much. That was a lot of fun.
Ross, thank you.
Thank you, gents.
Simon, thank you.
Thank you.
Steve, cheers, man.
Thank you very much.
And please like and subscribe and recommend us to all your friends, and see you in the next one. Goodbye forever.